One is the man who runs a grocery store. Two drives a yellow cab from door to door. Hello, good people. Welcome to my channel. This will be the third in a series of short videos where I go into some of the details about songs I've written and tell you about the history and the process. Now, most of you know that I kind of didn't spend my life as a musician, and that I only really returned to making music seriously about 20 years ago. But apart from a few gigs that the Amigo band played, very sporadic and few and far between, I didn't actually get into playing live until about 2015. Now, and the way it happened was this. Back in the day when Brian and I had 1984 at Hampton School, there was another school band called The Others. And actually they were kind of our heroes because they were really good, and they were very, very popular. And it just so happened that when I retired from the last job I did, which was incidentally was teaching, I bumped into them again because they'd reformed. And after a while, I joined as a guitar player and singer, of course, because their then guitar player had left and they were looking for someone. So I joined, and we had an enjoyable couple of years. We toured Croatia a couple of times. We did small tours in France. And, well, you know what it's like. It's expensive to keep a band on the road. So eventually what happened was we really couldn't afford to keep going. So myself and Paul Stewart, who was the singer, a rhythm guitar player, decided to continue as a duo. Now, the others, once they'd reformed and once I'd joined, had renamed ourselves Big Steam, which I think was a great name, and we sort of had posters with huge old American logos on. But anyway, so when Paul and I decided to devolve into a duo, for a while we called ourselves Little Steam, which I thought was quite good really, and we were kind of an unplugged outfit. But occasionally we augmented ourselves with a rhythm section, and after a while it became a bit silly to call ourselves Little Steam, so we called ourselves Staffell and Stewart, quite predictably, and that stuck. Now, Staffell and Stewart did an album back in just before the pandemic struck in 2019, and this particular song that I'm going to talk about is the title track of that album. Now, what makes it unusual is that, and to give you a bit more background, is that when I first returned to live music, I couldn't remember any of my lyrics. well, within reason. I had great trouble remembering my lyrics, so I used to take lyrics and have them on a music stand. And Paul, my good friend Paul, said, "Well, you can't do that, mate. That's like creating a fourth wall between you and the audience." And he's absolutely right. If your attention is distracted by words, then actually the audience picks up on that, and they know that there's a lack of sort of face-to-face commitment. So I struggled hard, and eventually I got a bit better. But I had this idea during this process, and that was to write a song where all the lines were numbered. I mean, I suppose, you can think of songs like Rock Around the Clock. I mean, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, rock, etc., etc. But I wanted to just name the lines, number the lines, so that I could remember them. And that's how this came about, this How High. And the first verse goes a bit like this. You heard me at the beginning. One is a man who runs a grocery store. Two drives a yellow cab from door to door. Three calls time across the factory floor. Everybody knows what they're working for. Four is a man who cut your garden tree. Five is a woman in the laundry. Six earns $1 just by shining shoes. And everybody knows about the blues. And when the man in the Cadillac says jump, we all shout high, high. It's a bad situation. We'll get to it by and by. So anyway, that's how High came about. I mean, apart from the fact that it worked, it also seemed to help with my appreciation of all of the other lyrics. And these days, although I do forget the odd word, and sometimes I sing verses in the wrong order, it was a huge improvement. And if anybody out there does have that trouble, just persevere, you know. Try not to read lyrics in front of you. It's kind of disconcerting. I don't like it, you know, when there's like an iPhone attached to the microphone stand and people's attention is distracted. It takes away from the performance. But you know, actually, it's music. Do what you got to do. And just to wind up now, I'm just going to play you a snatch of the actual track itself. This is off the Staffell Stewart album, of course, called How High. One is a man who runs a grocery store. Two drives a yellow cab from door to door. Three calls time across a factory floor. And everybody knows what they working for. Four is a man who cuts your garden tree. Five is a woman in laundry. Six is $1 just by shining shoes. Everybody knows about the blues. 'Cause when the man in the Cadillac says jump, we all shout it's a bad situation. We'll get to it by and by. 7 long years I had my head in a noose. 8 days a week until they cut me. So there you have it. How High. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Don't forget, I'll be doing another song next week. What I'm trying to do is feature one from each of my albums in sequence and then back to the beginning. So next week I'll be featuring a song from Wayward Child, and then the following week back to Amigo. I hope, as I say, you're enjoying this. Don't forget to subscribe and check back in a week's time for the next episode. Bye for now.